I shouldn't have answered the phone that night, because the call was coming from room 12, and room 12 was empty. I was working the night shift alone at a small roadside motel outside Tulsa. It was just after 1 in the morning. I remember because I had looked at the security monitor seconds before the front desk phone started vibrating across the counter. Line 12 was lighting up. That shouldn't have been possible. Room 12 had no guest. No key issued, no car in the parking space. I let it ring twice, then I picked it up. Front desk. For a moment there was nothing, just a faint sound, like someone breathing too close to the phone. Then a man spoke. "Why did you open my door?" His voice was calm, low, almost curious. My stomach dropped. I told him nobody was supposed to be in that room, that the room was vacant. He didn't react to that. He just said one thing. "I heard you outside." Then the line went dead. I checked the reservation system again. Room 12 was still marked vacant and clean. No reservation. No late check-in. No car outside. I looked at the security monitor. The camera showed the walkway. The door to room 12. The flickering yellow light above it. No one there. Still, something felt wrong. I locked the office door and stepped outside with the master key. The parking lot was completely silent. Halfway across the lot, I stopped, because the curtains in room 12 were open a few inches. I knew they had been closed earlier. I had checked every empty room before midnight. Now there was a narrow, dark gap between them. I walked closer. "Hello?" No answer. I unlocked the door and pushed it open slowly. The room was dark, except for the bathroom light. That bothered me immediately. I was sure I had turned every light off. The bed was untouched. The carpet looked clean. But when I stepped farther inside, I saw something near the window. Footprints. Wet footprints. Bare footprints. They started near the bathroom, then crossed the room, then stopped directly in front of the window, as if someone had stood there, watching outside. The bathroom floor was still damp, and a wet towel lay crumpled beside the shower. Someone had been there, very recently. I backed out of the room, locked the door again, then returned to the office. I was about to call my manager when something hit the front desk bell. The sharp sound echoed through the office. I froze. The front door was still locked. The glass showed an empty walkway. No one outside. But the bell had definitely been pressed. I grabbed the heavy flashlight from under the counter and checked the back hallway. The hallway led to the laundry room and a small storage closet. Halfway down the hall, I heard it. Breathing. Slow. Heavy. Very close. It was coming from inside the storage closet. That door had no outside access. No window. Just the one lock. I stood there holding the flashlight, listening. The breathing stopped. Then something inside shifted. A slow scrape. Like a shoe dragging across concrete. I stepped back immediately, locked the hallway door, and called 911. The dispatcher stayed on the line while I watched the security monitors. For almost 2 minutes, nothing happened. Then, camera 2 glitched. The picture rolled once, then returned. And when it did, room 12's door was open. I know I had locked it. The dispatcher told me not to leave the office. I said I wouldn't. Then someone stepped halfway out of room 12. Not fully, just enough to see part of him. A man wearing a dark work jacket. His face stayed in shadow, but the parking lot light caught something in his hand. A long screwdriver. He stood there for several seconds, looking directly toward the office, then slowly stepped back inside. The police arrived 7 minutes later. It felt much longer. They cleared room 12 first, then the laundry room, then the storage closet. The closet was empty, but there was something new on the floor. Mud. Fresh boot prints. They led from the closet door down the hallway toward the back exit. One officer followed them outside. The older officer searched room 12 again. When he came back out, he was holding a small brass key and a paper towel. He said he found it hidden inside the toilet tank. My manager, Denise, finally arrived while they were still searching. When she saw the key, her face changed immediately. The officer asked if she knew what had opened. She hesitated, then admitted it probably belonged to an old maintenance shed behind the motel. I had worked there 3 weeks. I had never seen any shed. It was hidden behind the ice machine and a wall of overgrown bushes. The police forced the lock. Inside were broken chairs, paint cans, old stained mattresses, and a folding chair. Next to the chair were 3 empty water bottles, a flashlight, and a small motel phone. The cord had been cut, but the handset was greasy, like someone had been using it often. Behind the chair was a narrow hole in the wall, a crawl space, just large enough for a person to move through. The officer shined his flashlight inside. The space continued under the building, toward the row of motel rooms, toward room 11. Denise finally admitted something then. The handyman who used to work there, Martin Vance. He had been fired months earlier after a guest reported someone entering her room while she slept. Nothing was proven, but Denise had told him never to come back. The officers followed the crawl space until it reached a loose panel under room 11. When they pushed it open, they found another phone. Mounted underneath the desk, hidden against the wall. The line had been spliced into the motel system. It could call the front desk directly. But when they pulled the desk away from the wall, they saw the carpet underneath, rows of cigarette burns, and small scratches cut into the wood paneling, vertical marks, grouped in sets of 5, like someone had been counting days. I never worked another shift there, but about a week later, I checked my voicemail. There was a saved message with no caller ID. At first, only silence. Then the same low voice from that night spoke quietly. "You opened the wrong door. The motel is still open. Same sign. Same row of doors facing the highway. Sometimes when I can't sleep, I look it up online. Room 12 is almost never available. And a few months ago, I found a review from a woman who stayed there. She wrote that she woke up around 1 in the morning because she heard something moving under the floor. Slow scraping sounds, directly beneath her bed. If you're a fan of creepy true stories, feel free to check out my playlist.